Hello, everybody. Just waiting to come in fully. See if I have anyone with me today. Just bring it up on my phone.
We're just leaving now. All right, you guys, thanks so much.
I have Lisa on um, just making sure I'm here. Oh, I got people. I just had to make sure it was actually live. It wasn't fully connecting in the beginning. So here we are. Hopefully I can stay connected. It is crazy, crazy windy here. I hope it don't. Yesterday it kicked out my internet. Hello, Vanessa. Hi. Windy here. Bring it on my phone so I can actually see. Uh, hello, hello, hello. I'm just back in after a long period of time away. I don't know what today brings. I'm not really sure if I'm doing a personal reading for people. If you want a personal reading, you can always book appointments with me on my website, CoreyThorne.com. We'll see what today brings. Hopefully, the message will help you in some way with whatever's going on with your son as well. Lachelle, I hopefully this today's group reading will help you. So this is my oh, thank you. This I've been back intermittently here and there, but I believe I'm finally ready to come back into my lives and back into my work. I'm hoping. I've been taking some time away, and so here we go. Let's see. I don't even have my right. I still haven't got my setup. I still got no office. I probably will never have an office. Um, I'm just I'm running off the camera that's built in. I no lighting, so you don't have my good setup happening. You have a dark looking screen by the looks of things of what you see, but I'm here. You can hear my voice. That's what matters. So um, today there is a lot of weird freaking energy. There's a lot of emotional energy. There's a lot of stuff that's going on. And what's been coming up for me, if you're not following my YouTube channels, I did post two new YouTube videos, two new channeled messages that are also out. And so there's a lot of exposure that's really happening in exposing us. Like I just feel like it's what's happening. And this comes with the Lion Gate energy as well, is that we had to kind of really shed things. Everything has to be, and so there's this really raw feeling that's within us. And I've been going through this, and I have a group of women that are from More Than Existing that I've taken on a 12-day uh, transformational boot camp that we're in, that is a real journey that will turn into a program eventually here. But um, it's that we're in this stage of transformation as we are evolving as a person within ourselves, our own personal journey. So you may find yourself, you may be on that side, you may be on that side of the energy where you're finding yourself be feeling very exposed, very raw. You're seeing kind of the good, bad, and the ugly of our own actions, our own lives, of the of the dismantling of how we just keep trying to keep our lives together, or we just keep trying to keep things running and going financially, personally, everything. Well, now we're seeing it all kind of like crumble. We're seeing this fall apart energy that's happening, where things are just like falling away. It's like the cookie is crumbling, all the pieces are falling apart, and it has its purpose, it has its why. So in my channel message yesterday, I'm like, we pray for what we wish to see happen, and we wish it's like wishing for rain. And I remember saying this when we were going through the fires and slave, like, I'm careful what you wish for, how much rain, because if we could go from one catastrophic event into another, if we want something so bad, and we get a floodgate of this, of too much of something, so we can get things in an overabundance, or what we're not prepared for. And it's the same thing when we have maxed out potential. And that's what like in the world, and what we've been pushing, and the agenda that's been pushed upon us is, you can max out, you can be anything you want to be, you can do anything you can. So we've maxed out the thought in the head, in the brain, of potential, and you can be this and you can be that. And I said, it's like this overflood of like social media, um, sense of advertisement to you can be all of this and you can do all of this. But they forgot to mention that in the meantime, what the thread that was being fed through all of that was also the fear stories, and the fact that, well, what about everything else we need to deal with? So the whole premises of the world has been built on a weak foundation that has been incorporated and instilled with fear. So if we raise our family and our children on fear based to fear everything, or if we have that fear story as a society, we've been really truly like buckled into this fear story. This whole message is for everybody. And so this fear that we've been incorporated in is that we've been led to believe you can be everything, but you don't, like, ignore everything else. So we've been taught to sweep underneath the rug. We've been taught to ignore everything else. And now what's happening is that we can't ignore it. It's like we're taking up the rugs or shaking them out, and then you're looking underneath going, holy shit, I just put all that dust under there for all those years and all that dirt under there for all those years. And now here it is, and I have to sweep it up and I have to clean it up. So we have to clean it up, and we have to, and that's where I've been cleaning up, doing the things that need to be done, that need to be, that we need to really face and look at within ourselves. And so I made a choice to step away to clean up anything else that I had left, so that I could create some sort of personal peace. Not I'm not at peace, and I'm not going to lie. I'm not at peace. I'm not at peace with some of the choices and decisions, and neither are you. Chances are we can use the term peace, but if you are so easily shaken or so easily distraught or so easily in anxiety or so easily like can lose every bit of work that you've just done on yourself so easily, well, we're not at peace because we've never been able to be at peace. We've been fed peace stories, and we've been fed what peace should look like. And when we don't have it, we crumble and we fall. And so there's this sense of self that where we're shedding right now is, and I keep writing this out, I'm 50. I'm walking into a new life. And yes, I have my grand dogs, and he's at peace. He's old. He does whatever the hell he feels like doing. That's Remy. Yes, Remy, we're talking about you. That's my grand dog. My granddaughter's on her first holiday to Newfoundland. Um, and so yes, so we have, this is why an office would be lovely. And so there is this. Welcome to the shit show of Corey. See, I can't hide anything. Everything is so exposed. And that's what we are. We're being exposed. So even when you have, your children are struggling, you're struggling, the world is struggling, we are in exposure. So it's like they put the x ray machine on us, and everything, including every little break, well, probably the MRI machine, something that exposes everything. So everything in whether it's our children, whether it is us, whether it is our friends, it's our relationships, everything right now is in a state of full exposure. And we're going to see this exposure continue for another while. So wherever we are struggling, wherever we have going on, whatever is happening, it's being exposed, not to shame us, not for us to guilt ourselves, not for us to continue to beat ourselves up, but for us to accept the journey that we have been wherever we have been, and that whatever is going on, we have, we now have to face it and deal with it, and not to band-aid it anymore. That this is a beautiful opportunity, and it doesn't feel beautiful, trust me. It doesn't feel beautiful. It feels raw. It feels bleh, but it's something that really truly is actually working on our behalf to help us, to help the next generations, to help those who are really struggling. Like the amount of addictions and isms that we have that exist within our own personal lives. So don't be so quick to judge somebody with a big addiction when you have to look at your own addictions. And whether it's addictions to your so-called OCDs, your healthy habits, your your over obsession of everything, is that we've become over obsessed and over driven and over everything, that we've become neglectful, and we've neglected to be able to see some of the main things that we need to see. So one of the biggest things that we need in our world and in our lives right now is maturity, and that is emotional and spiritual maturity. And in spiritual maturity, it means that we're not going to lead people by fear and religion based. And I'm not going to hold back anymore on anything that I ever fucking need to say. In religion based, for a good portion, not all, but for a good portion, it is led by fear. It is fearing us into this belief stories of this old way of thinking that leaves us not being able to evolve, not being able to spiritually mature. So it keeps you suppressed. So one story leads the way, but what else has changed in the one story? What else has evolved and changed? And how were those stories told to us, and how did we see it? And I say this all the time, like when you walk inside of a church and the first thing you see is this man swooped on a cross, and that's what a child, through a child's eyes, they see that. So if you're not a good girl, you're not a good boy, then that's what happens to you. You get crucified. And so this crucifixion has, this story of being crucified has left us crucifying ourselves for our whole freaking lives because we fear these things. And so then we instill these truths into we instill these so-called truths that are lies into children, and into, so our fear stories become amplified, and then we amplify it again, and then we're always trying to distract ourselves from life. So to spiritually mature and to spiritually grow means that we can't be led by fear. We have to step into a place of faith, which means faith in ourselves, us little people, us everyday people. We might be capable of a lot more than needing someone to tell us how to live our lives, including government, including organizations, including association. I'm never telling anyone how to live your fucking life. My more than existing, my programs is not about telling you how to live your life, is about you finding a way to live the life that's going to be best appropriate for you, not for somebody else. To not be led by fear, but to have faith. And so that is a huge one. And the other one is the emotional maturity. And the emotional maturity is truly about, and I wrote this down this morning. I got to look back at some of my own writings here. And so it's that sense of that emotional maturity is, that ability that, when we react, we've been so reactive. We've been such a reactive. We jump on things really quickly. We jump on bandwagons. We jump into attacks. We jump into everything, and we don't question nothing. We don't question what else was happening, who else is responsible, what role did everybody play, what role did I play, what role did everyone else in my family, in the society play. Instead of doing that, we jump right into a blame game, a shame game, a guilt game, and somebody has to pay the price. So here we are putting people on crosses and crucifying and doing all these things, including our own selves. And so when we look at things of where family is and what people are doing, how easily it is to, so when somebody steps up to speak a truth, what does a family do? Oh, I know what a family does. It ostracizes them. It kicks them out, because God forbid if somebody be the first person who don't want to live in misery anymore, don't want to live in fear, don't want to live behind the hurts, the secrets, the shaming, the blaming, who wants to do the healing things that need to be done. And so we react with the thing of, let's make sure we cast that person out. Let's cast them out. Let's cancel them out. Let's get rid of that, because we wouldn't want to have a change, right? And so then we extend on that fear story. And so the emotional maturity is to move beyond that place, that time of when we were captured, because you have to remember everything that you existed through was, and what you're remembering, all of your memories that you have are through the eyes of the age that you were at the time, through the heart, through the capability. So, through the emotional capability that you had to receive that message, to perceive that message, to get that message. And you only seen a part of the picture. You only seen what a little kid's eyes, or a 15-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 20-year-old was capable of processing at that time. And so everything, those illusions become the fairy tales that we turn into reality and we exist within. And so maturity is the ability, is that gap. So you got to be able to pause and really think and gain perspective and think about things a whole lot more before the reaction. And that reaction, before we react, that's maturity. That's the ability of us now to be able to stop and pause and think and then take action. And action doesn't mean that, it's that false sense of potential. We've been so pushing that narrative of potential. You can be anything you want to be. You can do anything. Well, no, you can't. And that's bullshit. You can if you are emotionally and spiritually and educationally prepared for what you're going to do. And if you overload on knowledge, how do you have space for wisdom? So you can read and read and read and read and read, and you can get all that knowledge. But if you don't allow for space and time for wisdom, which means communication, connection, listening, perspective, uh, silence, the greatest listening skill that we have is silence. Is silence. If you want to know, if you want to feel and sense what is happening in spirit world, you're not going to get it as long as you are running around like crazy with your head in the clouds and not wanting to listen. You got to be willing to stop, pause, listen. If you want to know the answers of what is going to be best to help your loved ones, you have to be willing to stop and listen, not to be waiting for some sort of quick fix. There is no quick fix. There's connection. First of all, you got to connect to the person that you have today, not to the person you used to have. And who do you have today? And what do you have today? And if you want to heal isms and you want to heal addictions, you got to sit with the person that's looking at you today and stop demanding that they return to who they used to be, because it's who they used to be that put them in their addictions, is what happened in the life they used to live that put them where they were. We ended up where we were and who we are today based on what we existed in and what was shoved down our throats and pushed up on us. Right? Hello, everybody. Right. And so this is us now being able to return to love. And so this was a statement that I wrote down that was of in a book that I'm reading. Well, in something that not a book I'm actually reading, a book I've read previously, that the messages came back to me, was that making a choice to oh dear, might be in my other book. I write so much stuff. And it was to just perfectly to sit perfectly in the love of whatever I have today. So whatever we have today, whoever we are today, wherever we are today, can you sit with you today and love you today? Can you sit here and love those that you want to fix their problems today? What if today you can't fix their problems? But what if today you can start and sit to face what you have happening? So I always would say this to, when I'm working with people and there's a lot of addiction stuff that's happening, I'm like, so you're bringing all the attention to everything that's wrong with this person, and you're telling them you're not shaming them, but all the attention's on their addictions. But what about yours? Have you looked in the mirror? Are you stifling? Are you shoving in a bag of chips? Are you using food? Are you burying yourself in your phone? Are you a workaholic? Are you addicted to fixing people? But in the meantime, you're sitting telling the one person looking at you that all they want is for you to just accept, I am here. I don't know how I'm going to get out of this, but I am here. And I don't need any more judgment, shaming. I don't need anyone else to tell me, how important it is for me to get out of here. I know my misery. I know where I live. I live in it. And that is what is going on, is that, you know, we max all of that out, and we tell people how we think they should live and how great their lives would be if they should fix it. But they can see into our lives. They can see us. So when you stop being that mirror, or you stop trying to live and heal in the stories of somebody else, you start to heal in your own journey. And a big thing of this is about that truth and living in that truth. We have to be willing to look at what we are doing our own selves. We have to be willing to start to allow ourselves to be dismantled and dismantle the things that are in our lives. And that's where I started. Everyone wonders how I started in this journey. Whatever took you into this journey, it was never about anyone else, it was about me. I stopped looking in wanting anyone else to change. I start looking at all the isms that I had. I start looking at the fact that I was secretly eating a bag of chips a day. I start secretly looking that a bottle of wine was creeping itself in a day. So if I was going to judge somebody else, and I was looking at the anger, the frustration, the self-hate, that enemy that was inside of me, how did that get there? Why was that there? And how was it affecting my relationships? And what was I doing? And so it is about that ownership and responsibility that we take into our own lives. And we start to look at where we have been, what we're doing, and how we are contributing. And one of the biggest things that I've been writing out and in my teachings is about hate, and that ability, that hidden pieces that hide within us, that we think are invisible. They take everything from us. They take every opportunity. So when we look at the world of those who are really struggling, when we look at those worlds, right, and we notice those, we have to look at what we are doing to ourselves. And we have to dismantle all the lies that we tell ourselves of what a great person we are, what a great life we live, how kind we are, how compassionate we are. And I'm such a good person. If you're that friggin' kind, we'd be that kind to ourselves, that we would not be where we are, that we are attacking each other, or that we are judging, that we have an opinion about everything, that we tell this story of, oh, I have no ego left. Well, it's impossible to not have no ego, right? There's those truths that come up. And so, as I'll read all my comments in a second, let me finish getting this channeled message out. And so then we step into this, and as we evolve through this, as we come through this time, it's not about even shaming ourselves into healing. Healing's not about shame. Healing is about accepting. You cannot fix the person you used to be. You can't fix who someone used to be. You can't fix people. You have to start walking into becoming somebody based on the fact of knowing where we have been and about becoming this. So, everything that we want for somebody else, what do you want for you? What do we need for us? So if you want somebody else to get better, if you want someone else to heal, if you want someone else to be a better person, we got to look at our own journey. And it starts with us. And that's a truth. And that's why I take these big pauses. That's why I go silent. That's why I step away, is because I don't stop dismantling. I don't stop putting that work into me. I write the books. I see myself. But when you hear me say things like, I stopped being the mirror, I stopped holding the mirror, it means that I've made a choice to walk into the woman who's inside that mirror, who's looking back. And I'm not going to be that reflection for anyone else. We have to all look into our own mirrors and see the best of us, and know that that best of us is what we want to start walking towards, not continue try to fix and patch up. We're not an old boat that we keep putting patches on. It's not to patch up our lives. It's not to patch up those lives that were created based on who we thought we should be. It's about walking into who we are here to be. And that's love and light. And there's such love and light and acceptance that comes into that. And that brings us into a place that You can have faith in you because you were enough. You started out as enough. You were more than enough. And you had so much to give. And we arrived with that potential. And that whole searching for purpose, it's like you're already living the purpose. You were here to be the best human that you can be, to do the best thing that we can do as humans. And we're here to now to unleash everything that we trap and hold so deep inside of us. Because when we unleash it in us, we stop trying to fix it in another. And we let others walk into their journey of their own healing. And it's crucial. It is so crucial right now, the way that we do this, that we really stop and we pause, we reflect, and we start to walk together. Less judgment, less shame, less divide. This whole divide culture, this was a motive. There's such manipulation to dividing people, to getting people to hate on each other. It all served a purpose of a fear story. And if we can't see that right now, and we're seeing it so large, if we can't see that, we're missing something within ourselves because we're still living separated from ourselves. We're still separating ourselves from what we could be, who we used to be, the potential. You're all of that, all combined. We just need to take the mask off. We just need to start taking off all of those, right? And so all of those masks, all those, we're being chiseled away. And so we're being chiseled away and we're being exposed for that raw, vulnerable self that should be seen. That should be seen. And not that you got to show it all to the world or tell the whole world. And that's what I decided, is that some things I don't have to share. And I was sharing everything. And one of the biggest thing that I discovered is in my sharing everything also was a little bit of a trauma response. It was that need that if I share with everybody, then everybody would be comfortable. I'm not here to make everybody comfortable. In the meantime, I was somehow also stabbing myself. I was shaming myself. I was guilting myself. And I really had to take a good look at some of that. That some things are sacred. And it's okay to keep them until you're ready to share, until you're ready to put it out there. And it's okay. And if anyone who's new that's following me, I can't read your messages until I finish the channel message because my brain it's fully incorporated into the channel. And the channel message has to get out before I can stop and pause and read all the comments. It all has to spill out because that's not from me. That's the message from divine. And they use me as the vessel to pass on the messages from source, from God, from the divine, from the spirit world, from wherever it's coming from, so that it gets out into the world. How you perceive it is how you're feeling today. How you perceive it is how you're existing in your own mirror. And if it has you angry, if it has you frustrated, if you're like, I can't listen to her, she's annoying, then all of those things that you judge within me, that's judgment upon you. And that's something that we look at within ourselves. And if it's inspiring you, then you're starting to inspire yourself to want to be the change in your own life. And that's how this works. You like that message, Jaden? Yay. See, so you're starting to become your own inspiration. You're truly starting to absorb a lot of this. And you're starting to take an active ability to listen. And that means that you're really starting to ascend. You needed this? Good, Tracy. See? Something told me to come back today, and then I went in and I followed Lisa today, Lisa Star Francis, and her message, and I'm like, and while I was in there, I announced I'm going back, and I knew I was coming back soon, and I knew it was time. So um, I accept that. I accept where I belong, and I know where I belong. Lisa eats chips and ice cream, so I remember the addictive tendencies come in my guises. Yes, I'm here to change me, not to point out to others what they are doing. Yes, exactly. We're not here to point out to others. We need to stop pointing fingers. The moment you point fingers is that you're actually showing and exposing what is really happening in you, or you're trying to mask and hide something that's inside of you. We don't need to point fingers. We don't need to be doing that. And to all that judge and criticize, I send love. And I've also created some big boundaries. And I've also done a lot of clearing in my own life of people that I just keep trying to be nice to, or I keep trying to hold on to, because because I have the ability to see beyond. I can see the good, and I can see the love, and I can see the spirit in everybody. I see spirit before I see you, right? So when I meet people, I see the spirit of you first. I see what you are here for. I see what you are. And so because I see that in everybody, then that's what I would see. But I also had to come to real good terms that the human journey is what people are here for. And so, whatever the human is existing within, and no matter how much you try to mask it, no matter how much you try to put a role on it, no much how much you try to say, "Oh, but I'm a good spiritual leader. I'm this, I'm that." The moment that you placed any judgment up on me is the moment that I know we are still working with a lot of unhealed healers, because we want to spend more time putting our focus into other things and other people and distract from our own lives so that we don't deal with our lives. And I just had to say no to a lot of places in my life that really truly was not in alignment to where I am in my heart. I'm working hard, and I work hard, and I mean hard. I work hard at trying to be a better human being every day. I put effort into not shaming or pointing out my flaws, but in a place of acceptance of saying, I really have to unleash and clear any enemy that's inside of me, any self hate. And I got to liberate yourself. And so I'm thankful for my circle. I'm thankful for my followers. I'm thankful for the work that I'm able to exist within. I'm more thankful for my continual relationship with God. And that word really scares people. But if it wasn't for God, I wouldn't be here. If it wasn't for my existence of knowing that there is a light that exists within me, that burns a desire for me to grow, to heal, to evolve, to become an even better human being, then I probably wouldn't still be here, because I had such self doubt and such hate and such. I carried the burdens of anything that anyone reflected upon me, even if it was so much as one little judgment. I would go into that deep, oh my God, what did I do to them? How did I do that? I'm so wrong, and I'm an awful person. I'm a horrible person. How could I ever have hurt? And I would spiral that so bad. And why? And why? And I know why, right? And I know that, that empath abilities that is so deep, but to also care so much, and to care so much that I had to start caring for me, and you have to start caring for you. And you have to care enough for you today to know that it's okay. It's okay that you have a past. It's okay that maybe yesterday you might have even been an asshole. It's okay that yesterday you may have been judgmental. It's okay that you've been constantly trying to do something that's out of alignment to you. It's okay. But today is a new day. And today you have this day. And you have this day to start to focus on, what do I need right now? And what do I need to do? And how do I start walking into the best of me? Instead of trying to fix me, stop trying to fix you. Stop it. Stop trying to fix you. It is not about a fixing. It's about evolution. It's about evolving. Mother Earth is not going around putting band-aids on herself. Mother Earth is burning. She burns, she erupts, she does what she needs to do to clear the air, to fix, to make space, to make room, to do whatever she needs to do for new growth, for new beginnings. And we have this thing of not wanting to let things die, not wanting to let things end. We hold on until we harbor so much hate, so much energy inside of us, that it literally eats away at us. And then we end up ill ourselves. And then we're wondering why we're ill. Right. And so it's like we have to, And it's the same thing, my heaven on earth. So this is free in Corey School of Magic, and it's up again. And I spoke this at my event, at the, not my event, at the More Than Existing event last January. That at that event, I spoke about heaven on earth, how important it is for us to let our loved ones go who have passed on. We can't keep spirit attached to earth that needs to evolve to work for us. They will work on our behalf if we stop holding everybody accountable to keeping us emotionally in our story, in our misery, in our hurts, that we have to set them free. Let them evolve so that they can become evolved spirits to help us. We have a serious issue on earth that we are not letting things go. We're not letting things die. It's like we're going to refurbish. And here we are returning all the way back again. Right? We have to be willing to let stories die. Let, the mother that you had at 20, the mother who may have had you when she was 20, if she's 70 now, she's not responsible for what happened at 20, because the 20-year-old mother is now a ghost. She's a ghost. She's a figment of an imagination that you keep alive so that you got somebody to blame for everything that would have happened in the beginnings of your life, so that you can have somebody responsible for your bad behaviors today. She's not responsible. She's a ghost. That version of her is dead. She's not alive. You have a 70-year-old who's now evolved beyond that, who's now in a different story, in a different life, in a different way. And we have to look at ourselves that same way. You cleaned your closet. I'm glad you get it, Wendy. uh, and so we have that, we have that sense of self that we are keeping all of this ghost, even ghost of ourselves alive. And so you're punishing yourself. And that's how our isms and stuff become so big in our lives. That's how our addictions become so big. We're addicted because we are clinging and holding, and the baggage is so much. And so what we're doing is we have a mind problem. We think way too fucking much, and we're always think. And that's where that potential thing, what can I possibly be? What can I do? Am I doing enough? Is there enough? Da da da. We have this internal sense of the gut instinct that can guide us. And so you have these body points, and the body of our body has, and what I do, one of my many trainings is somatic. And so it's the body mapping, and the body guides you. And if the body hurts, there is something there that is hurting, and that's not a lie. If you're hurting, it's hurting for a reason. What's hurting? Why is it hurting? And we need to let the body guide us. And so if you let your body walk, if you let yourself move, if you let yourself, instead of overthinking, what do I need? And if we learn to listen, we'll be able to make the changes that we need to make, because something is not working. And if you see how severely, you know, crushing, emotionally and spiritually crushing our world is becoming, then you see that our world is trying to return us to basics. Prime example, look at grocery stores. Gone back, and I said this in my channel message, gone back to paper bags. Now, why are they gone back to paper bags? Because they now learned. So there was a motive to bring plastic in, and plastic was, so it built a corporation, it built a business, there was all kinds of money being made from it. But this paper bag was going to dissolve and go back into nature, and we didn't have to create recycling programs. We didn't need we didn't need to charge people all this extra money. We didn't need to bankrupt people to make associations, to make companies bigger. We didn't need to be taking more money. We've been nickel and dimed, all because there is these motives. And here we are now trying to return to paper, but paper bags used to be free, and now we're being charged for paper bags. And look at that. The trees are going to burn anyway because they got old, and the old trees had to burn. And that could have been cut and used for a purpose, right? And so there's so much that we have to go back and we have to revisit, and we have to look at, what are we emotionally holding on to and hanging on to that makes us become like we're suffocating ourselves in those plastic freaking bags that we should never have had in the beginning. Right? We need to look at things. We've been thinking ourselves into a non existent life, and we've numbed ourselves to a point that we try not to think, but that's all we do is think because the anxiety is telling us that's all we're thinking. And we're so caught up in what someone else thinks and what somebody else is doing because we're so exposed to what the whole world is doing and the filtered life and the TikTok world and all those images of this that we've created this zombie world, and we need to be able to feel, and we need to be able to feel what is right, trust what is right. There's a fire burning inside of us all, and that's why we're dismantling. That's why things are burning away, and that's why we're being exposed, so that we have a choice and an opportunity to do things differently. What are we going to do different? We're going to start with us. That's where we start. That keeps being brought up to me. Don't point fingers, don't judge other people. I put up walls because I don't want to be hurt again. I stop involving myself with other people keep hurting me. But I think putting up walls right now is a good thing to do. Take care of myself and my pregnancy. Yes, you got to care. You have to care for you and your child. That's a priority, right? Tyler, shatter that mirror and make rainbow reflection pathways. Yes, exactly, right? Yes. Yeah. Shatter that mirror. You can have your own mirror and look in the mirror and tell yourself how beautiful you are every single day. Look in it and then point out, don't point out your flaws, point out the things that is keeping you from seeing your own beauty and saying, it's time for me to let you go. If you don't see the beauty in me, if you can't see the potential that I'm good enough, then I have to let you go. And that's you talking to yourself. I have to let that self go because it's the oneness means that come together. Oneness isn't that we're all going to think the same story. Oneness is that we accept, right? And so oneness brings us into a deeper seated connection into self, an awareness of self, and that we don't separate ourselves from all of these spectrums of identities. Is that you are be at one, and when you're at one, you'll be at some sort of peace. To be to be at peace with your past and where you have been lead you to a place of being able to accept your todays. And I am where I am because I've done a lot of I didn't have worth and value in me. And so the things that have slipped through my fingers and the opportunities that slipped through my fingers and the money that slipped through my fingers, the things that I've wasted, the things that I've done is all because I didn't know any better. And so I can't keep beating myself up for what I didn't know. And now that I know, I can do better. Now that you know, you can do better. Now that you're aware, right? Once you're aware, you can't go back to sleep on certain things. So if you're neglecting and ignoring then you're distracting yourself from wanting to deal with them. Some things you're just not ready. And if you're not ready, just tell yourself, I'm not ready for that. What am I able to say yes to today? What can I say yes to in my own self? What can I say yes to in helping myself today? What do I know is a strong yes that I can do? I have a post-it note on a mirror at my dad's house that states, "Find your joy and you'll find your passion." Exactly. And that's such truth. And this was one of my biggest issues. This was my hobby. This was my passion. This is what I love to do. And then it became another job. And when it became another job and it became work, I became what I always became, a workaholic, because I wanted to give the best of me to everything. And the best of me to everything took away the best of me for me. And so I was teaching. I teach 5 or 6 nights a week. I work with individual clients every single day of the week. I was on here in live every single day. I was recording for 2 YouTube channels, plus writing blogs, plus writing books, plus creating my oracle cards, plus, all while loving what I was doing. But in the meantime, I didn't realize I never even paid attention that the joy was gone and that I was non-existent in life. I There was so much of life that since I was 18, all I've done is work. All I've done is work. I've been a mom, I've done those things. And you see pictures of occasional holidays, but I don't live. This summer, I've had to really start to, like, intentionally force myself to start to live and leave work behind because all the joy that I was starting to find inside was now being sucked out because the workaholic was so busy making sure that I showed up. So there was no passion left. The call was still there. I was still doing what was being asked of me of spirit, but I also had to say no to spirit. And I had to say, not no. I need time to just be human. I need time to just be there. Because when the joy is leaving, so there's things I've never done. I've rarely ever in my lifetime sat on a beach. I never really sat on a beach previously. And now I go down and I put on my bathing suit and I go sit on the beach. I take my stuff with me and I can work and sit on the beach, but not in the workaholic that I have to get things done. If I feel inspired, I can do it. Um, but now financially, I'm not, financially this has I'm dismantled. I've dismantled and had to unravel some real serious truths of where I am right now. Um, but I rode a horse. I've never been able to ride a horse, but I communicate to horses. So I went out and myself and my sister-in-law went out horseback riding. And what I discovered was I really trust the horse and I didn't trust me. And so a whole journey started again. When you take time away and you start to intentionally let yourself find areas of your life that you are uncomfortable with or that you have not explored, that you start to find out more and more about the truth of you, that you may find out parts of you that you didn't know even existed, that are truths of you, because we limit our lives by living that one dimensional life. Um, Haley, everything that I've said today would have really helped you. If you're just joining in, I highly suggest that when we're done, let's stay in right now, but when we're done, go back and listen to this whole thing because I think that'll really make sense for you, Haley. And it'll really help you with the confusion that you have. So I think that's so, but stay with me right now because this continues it. And so this journey of self discovery really is about I I refuse to walk into the next stage of my life as a workaholic. I'm not working. I can't. My physical body has so much that has limited me in so many ways. I I I want to live a life. And live a life means that I want to live this human journey. And it's so important for us to find those things. And that means doing things that you maybe even wish to have done. You don't need to save up a pile of money, go on a holiday. You can find a body of water to sit by. You can do things. Um, People are always amazed at what I have not done in this life and how much I've worked. So I've worked, pretty much my whole life and I've lived very little of it. So there's a lot of things that I've and my sister-in-law's here. She knows. She was with me and she's in people are in awe. Just like they're in awe of how much stuff I don't have. How I don't have a pile of things in my life. Um and so it's like people create the illusions of you and the life they think you live and what you actually live is two different things. Um Yes, I have grown a lot this year. Yes, I have. Um, Felicia, I love going to sit at the beach. I always go in the evening, sunset, right? And I don't like being by the water. I'm from the water. I'm from Newfoundland, but I'm not from the ocean. I lived near the ocean for a good portion of my life, but it's like, yeah, I don't want to go to the beach. I don't want to the beach. But it wasn't. That was a distract. That was so that I could have an excuse to always stay in the fact that I'm needed at work. I have to work because that's priority. I need the money. So that desperation and that's I'm you can spend your life feeding. So Haley, think of this. You can spend your life feeding yourself crumbs and feeding everyone else everything else of you, and you can pay the price for that. Or you can feed yourself everything that you need and then be able to inspire everyone else to be able to feed themselves. And so if your life right now, if you feel confused and you feel lost, you may be feeding yourself crumbs. You may be giving yourself little bits of your joy, your happiness, and you're depending on the human world. You're depending on the material world to show you temporary moments of happiness and joy. And if you're depending on the human world to show you temporary moments of joy, you're in it for the wrong reasons, right? Like life is, it's life, that joy is internal for us, and we have to feed ourselves. And so when I look at, the things that I could have had in my hands, I've really had to struggle with not beating myself up, because what has been handed to me and what could have been in my hands is out of this world. But I kept saying, no, I'd rather, subconsciously, no, let someone else have it. No, I'll give it away. No, not right now. I'm not ready. I need to keep working. Like fear, you don't realize how deep seated that fear is. And to hear your whole life, just let them have it. Just let that person have it. You can get it later. Just keep the peace. Just make other people happy. Just do this, just do that. I want so bad for everyone else to succeed in this life. In the meantime, I've let much of my success slip through my hands. But success didn't come in being a workaholic, because that didn't serve me well. That just left me depleted, empty, and with a body that has been severely damaged. Don't do that to your life, right? It's like, is that really worth it? And what did you gain? And if I were to look at where I started when I even first come to Alberta to where I am right now, I have the same amount as what I arrived with, but I have a shitload of wisdom. But I have a shitload of wisdom. And that wisdom that I have right now is what I'm taking forth into the next stage of my life. And that's what you need to look at. What have I learned? Don't beat yourself up. Don't try to fix it. What have I learned? What do I have right now that I know I can use to help propel me forward, that I can use to direct me, to steer me in my right directions? That is wisdom. And you find that wisdom when you go out and you smell the roses, when you go out and you take the time to walk, when you stop being so caught up in everything else, you stop being, and turn off the fucking news. Turn it off. It is corruption of the mind. It is guided to manipulate, whether it's one side or the other, doesn't matter. Neither side is right, neither side is wrong. Every side is it's all about money, and it's all about their friends, their people, their organizations, and who supports them and who don't, and their advertisements. And so you want to get back into you. And to get back into you means to truly step into succeeding at being the best human that you can be. Let's start there. Right? Let's start there. And we can do this together. I'm not leaving you again. I knew when I came back in that there's no going back out. And whoever, whatever is to be now, as I come forth, you'll see me, not probably as much as you were previously, but um, I'm not going anywhere. Raina was a workaholic until late last year. Everyone around me was happy because I was working my ass off. I fell into depression and broke down. Right? That's what I said. Everyone else is happy when I'm out giving my all, but I was in a deep-seated misery. And my move has taught me a whole lot about how much people don't care about you. And I mean, like, so I did everything to make sure that my last house was spick and span, the best condition that I could have given it, that, like, and they demanded it be cleaned, or they demanded it have this and demanded they have that. So I did the things that was asked of me. But and then the things that I could do, like outside, spraying down every bit of that house, making sure all the spider webs, the cobwebs were out, Q-tips, cleaning everything. And in the end, I got treated like I was garbage, like I was dirt, like I was a less than person. It was horrible. It was awful. Also, that they could keep a big portion of my damage deposit, to find little things like a little bit of lint inside the dryer, like little things, so that they could nickel and dime me, all in the name of putting this in your hand, and then to try to tell me that's integrity. In the meantime, I lost my integrity. I lost my health, clear out doing stuff that I wasn't really able to do. Same with the moving company. I did all this work to help the moving company and still gave them a good review. And then I go to turn on my TV and my TV is crashed. I moved half the boxes because it was a hot day and they couldn't work. And here they were. And so I was telling him I had to go for back surgery, and I had to hire a moving company because I can't lift anything, but I had to lift all this stuff just to get it out of my house, just so I could get out in time. And so my level of commitment and wanting to be there, I realized wasn't, and in the meantime, it wasn't being matched. And in the meantime, it cost me a lot in my health, in my body, and I've been trying to bring myself back up. And so, why did I feel the need to give that much of me? Right. And so, you have to really look at the give and take. You really have to look at what people really are doing and where we have come. And so, yeah, take a good look. And so, yeah, exactly, Raina. I'm not making any money. I have no I have no dollars coming in. I have no money coming in for like 2 months. But in the meantime, I have more joy in my heart now than now. I'm a little bit panicked today. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm not at peace right now today. Not internally, financially. but where I am in my heart and where I am in taking a stand to choose to walk forward, totally at peace, right? Totally at peace. Right, exactly, Brenda. I have learned that life should take you off the road. Yes, and Brenda and I went off the road. We went off the beaten path. And so, okay, Felicia, any message about my son's MRIs coming up soon? A lot of us are super nervous. Well, there you go. See what you just did? So a lot of us are super nervous. How about a lot of us do a lot of sending love and light and seeing it as healed, seeing it as clear, seeing it as perfectly healthy, seeing it as it's just this clear thing that everything is going to be good. See, because that super nervous, that super worry is negative, lower vibrating energy. It cannot help. It will not fix it. It will not serve the future, and it will not serve that day. So, and you don't think that that child picks up and feels that energy? So, how about we see that child as well? How about we see him as perfectly healed, fine, see him as all of that is so beautifully done, and see it as clear, and we're clearing out that energy, and we're just going to clear the thought and just say, all we see it as well. We see clear energy, we see healthy, we see a healthy boy, see him running around playing, see him being so full of life and so full of light and love, and just like charged up, charge up his energy, charge up your energy. And that's how we have to start to view things instead of instantly going to even the thought that you even said that nervous word is like that is energy. That's lower vibrating energy. You have to raise the vibration. See him well. I see him well. I see him running around playing. Exactly. See, you did that last time and the appointment went well. Well, that's what we're doing again right now for him. Nope. So, Amy, the nicer you are to people, the worse they treat. So this is the way I view it, is that the world is full of people who are fearful and who are caught up in the story. But the world still has more beautiful people and more people that are not caught in those stories than there are in those negative. You just got to seek and find out the ones. So all of that happened to me for a reason. That was a part of my journey. I needed a hard lesson in order for me to start to say freaking no and stop being so nice about things, like the fact that I was charged another $1,000 for moving, or the fact that I should have said to them that day, like, this is your job. You have to do it. And I'll help. I can assist where need be. It was a very hot day. I give kudos to the fact that it was 40 something degrees. It was a heat wave, but the company knew sending in two people that they should have been more prepared. They didn't even come with water. Like, they came with nothing. And so, that's not my responsibility to prepare. But the world still has more beautiful people, and I choose to find the beauty. But I learned some valuable lessons in what I do. And so I I could have just did bare minimum. and only did what needed to be done and left that house. But for me, my integrity still wouldn't allow it. So I stayed true to my integrity, even though other people didn't. And I can be at peace with knowing that I've done everything that I could do. You were in Edmonton during that heat wave? Yeah, it was hot. It was hot, hot, hot. No, Ellie, yeah, some people, the world, that's what I said. We need to start, being that love and light to each other. We really do. Yeah, it was. So I'm just looking back up through here now. Yay! Yay, Danielle. Thank you. I'm so glad to hear that, Danielle. That's great news. Right? We don't need fixing. We need to walk forward. We need to walk out of the past. We need to stop letting the old hold on to the earth the way that it is. We need to evolve. So I am going to pull a card before I leave. I have been in an hour. Holy shit. Doesn't feel like an hour. You had to get him arrested, but thank God he's gone. Yay. You're so welcome, Haley. I'm so glad it helped. And I am going to give I'm going to give a general card right now. I hope this adds in. Look at that. We have water. We have the turtle. We have Mia Moore, and she's eternal. And I'm actually changing her name. So the name of this card is changing. And she's actually going to become, as I've evolved with the cards and as the cards have evolved, because this is why the cards are not out. So the reason why the cards are out, because they had to evolve with me. And the book is I'm almost finished writing the book. But this card is going to be called Magdalene. So she's going to be Magdalene. She's still going to be eternal, but she's going to be in Magdalene, just like Mary Magdalene. So just like Mary Magdalene, so many stories were told about her. So many stories have evolved about how she was this awful, how she was a so-called not clean woman and they had to clean her for her to be enough. But she was one of the greatest spiritual teachers that ever walked the earth. And so this is when nobody else gets, when you fall in love with you, when you self liberate, when you truly start to know you, nobody else gets to tell your story. Nobody else gets to define you. Everyone else can have their build your reputation, tell the story. But when you know you, you open your heart and you walk through, and you've gone through, the turtle is like all stages of our lives. When you know who you are at the core truth of you, that you can let yourself like ride the waves of your own even flow into falling into you, into knowing that you have great wisdom and knowledge that you've evolved into, and that you don't have to give it to the world, but you can use yours to help you. And you know your path, you know the direction. So, Haley, you do know your path. You're just afraid to walk your own path because you're still trying to please somebody. And the moment you're still trying to please somebody or fit in or to be identified by the world or what the world thinks of how we should be, is that you're closing your heart off to you. You may have an open heart to the whole world, but if you close your heart off to you, you're never going to be able to ride the wave of your own ocean, you'll be in those emotional stories your whole life instead of letting yourself like just go with the flow. Trust the burning desire in your heart that just guides you, and know that that is your truth, and that you can walk through your own doors and open up your own opportunities, but walk your path, walk yours, and only yours. So you're very welcome, Annette. So one last card. Let's finish it out with one last card for today. And I am thankful to be back. I know where I belong. Our last card of today is Serenity. Serenity. And this is the eye of the storm. And so with the eye of the storm, here we have our unicorn. And, you know, I always say one of my spirit animals was a donkey. And when the donkey first came, I'm like, all I see is this big, hee this big smiley teeth. And I'm like, a donkey? I get a freaking donkey? Like, I was expecting some big magical Pegasus horse, but I get a donkey. But when you stick with your donkey and you fall in love with it, with all of what the donkey does, well, the donkey is that little workaholic, right? Just will do anything, faithful, loyal, a protector. The donkey is like one of the most powerful animals that there is. And a donkey carried Jesus in, right? And it's like carried Mother Mary in. Like there's this sense of that donkey. But when you allow yourself to know that through every storm, if you stay at peace with you, that the storms will come, everything will come and go. There will be another beautiful day, another beautiful moment. That if you let yourself evolve instead of erode, if you let yourself evolve instead of erode, that you truly will be at peace with who and what you are, because you are here for the journey. You are here to know that you will make wrong choices and you may have things thrown at you, and life will test and challenge us. But it doesn't define us, it doesn't own us, and that we have the opportunity to allow ourselves to, from the inside out, to shine our light, to grow, to evolve, and to no longer let ourselves erode, to fall, but to let other things die. And that from the donkey, the Pegasus did evolve, the wings did grow. And from that time, and that evolution of you means that you move, that you fly beyond, you move beyond all things that identified you before. And then you have a beautiful ladybug and a butterfly. So luck is created. Miracles are actions. Rainbow Rainbows are the illusions, and they're full circles, and it's that completion. It shows us that we can be fooled and eluded, and but we can also see the magic is that we can believe it, that we're always chasing. If you're constantly chasing that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, is you're always going to be chasing your tail. If you sit in the middle of the circle, all that beautiful gold will fall in on you. It will just fall over you. So sit and watch the rainbow and stop wishing for what's at the end. Embrace what is within you right here, right now. And that's what we have. Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for staying, supporting, following me. Please share these likes, share these out. This work only grows, only evolves if people share and support it, and we get the messages out. And I am back to work in September. Um, my schedule for September is like it's pretty. I'm working a fair bit, and then after that, I don't know what'll be happening, but I do have my September schedule is up. Go in, get yourself booked in if you want an appointment with me. Also, there is some new stuff in the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness, the school. If you go in that Heaven on Earth bundle, there's a bundle in there of my talks that are in there for free. We just released it again. That's just out. Hey, on Sunday, I'm starting to teach the stars beneath the sea. So the mystical realm. So I have that course that's coming up Sunday, and that's 2 Sundays in a row, and it's only $66. So it's 2 hours Sunday morning on this coming Sunday and the following Sunday, and it's the whole connection into the magical world of the stars beneath the sea is what it's called. And it's about vibration, it's about connection, and it's using that whale energy. And so, me communicating through the whale energy of the power of our vibration, the vibrational energy that happens within us. Um, and so I'm looking forward to Sunday. And then I also have More Than Existing that's coming up again. That's starting. If you're interested in taking the More Than Existing journey, that program is being launched again. We have a start date for September. If we can get if it fills up, then we'll be starting September. And so I look forward to seeing everybody. And I have some group coaching stuff that's also coming up. So I'm going to be starting a whole new program of 4 weeks of group coaching. The first one's on intuition, and that one is also starting, I think, in September. and that's in the More Than Existing Academy of Higher Consciousness. And so it's a group coaching thing that I'll be doing for 4 weeks. It'll be intuition and then the weight of your words. So there's always going to be a different series that's coming out. And there's also a new Goddess Within class, and that's vices and virtues. And that's also being launched. So you can go into any of that stuff. Yes, morning. I think it's morning. I think it's morning. I'll have to look. I think it's morning. It's in the events. I'll have to look myself, Raina. Now I'm second guessing. I don't even know what it might be evening. I'm not sure. But it's on Sunday. It is Sunday. So I look forward to seeing you all. So if you want to join me in that magical journey, I love those. I love teaching the mystical realm. It is such an amazing journey. So I'll see you Sunday if you're joining me. And if not, I should be back again. Hopefully I'm back in tomorrow. We'll see how tomorrow goes. I'm trying to work my way back in. Much love. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thank you. See you later. Oh, it is morning. Brenda just confirmed it. It is morning, Raina.